Some nights, the only thing we need is permission to slow down quietly. So, wherever you are listening from tonight, let your shoulders sink a little lower. Let the muscles around your eyes soften. If you can, allow your jaw to loosen, as if it has been holding a small, unnecessary worry all day, and now it can finally set it down. Take one breath in through your nose and feel the air arrive like cool water. Then let it leave you, unhurried, as if it already knows the way home. Tonight's story does not ask you to be brave. It does not ask you to solve anything. It only asks you to walk gently through a landscape that once held a different kind of quiet. An ancient quiet, wide and patient, the kind that makes time feel less like a deadline and more like a soft, steady river. Did you notice time slowing down from the moment the narration began? If you did, that's a good sign. It means the busiest part of your mind has started to drift just a little toward rest. Before we drift deeper into tonight's gentle journey, remember to subscribe to Ancient Sleep Story. Here, you'll always find peaceful stories that soothe the heart and quiet the mind. Where are you listening from tonight? Leave a comment. Your presence adds warmth to this quiet corner of the night. And now, let's begin. Before any city was crowded with noise, long before stone temples threw sharp shadows across plazas, there was a morning in a low valley where the light arrived softly, like silk being unrolled across the earth. In the ancient land between the hills, near the slow bend of the Jordan River, there was a plain once described as a green bowl. The old name for it was the kikar, a word that can feel round in the mouth like the shape it describes, a cupped place held carefully by the slopes around it, collecting water, soil, and life. Imagine it with your eyes half closed, a ribbon of stream water, braided and patient, moving through reeds, irrigation channels glimmering in thin lines as if someone had drawn silver threads across brown soil. Palm trees leaning slightly, their fronds whispering together, not loudly, not sharply, just enough sound to remind you that the world is still breathing. And if you listen closely in your imagination, you can hear other small sounds too, a distant bird calling once and then stopping, the soft scrape of a clay pot being set down, a footstep on packed earth, slow and measured, as though nobody is in a hurry to arrive. If you have ever seen the Dead Sea in a photo, you may recall how its surface looks almost too calm, as if the water has decided to stop moving and simply hold the sky in place. Tonight, we let that image remain soothing. We won't hurry toward endings. We only feel the gentle contrast, a valley once lush, a shoreline now pale with salt like a quiet snowfall that never quite melts. Sometimes the earth keeps its memories in textures rather than words. It remembers with minerals, with stillness, with silence, and with the long patience of time. If you like, imagine one grain of salt between your fingers. Cool? This is where our gentle journey begins, not with a battle, not with a storm, but with a place that feels safe enough to rest inside, even as a story quietly forms at its edges. Because the strange truth of history is this: the most powerful events often happen around ordinary things: water, bread, shade, the simple kindness of a door being opened at dusk. And dusk is coming, but before the sky deepens, let the daylight linger for a moment, let it warm the stones, let it soften the fields. This valley was once a corridor of movement. Traders knew it, shepherds knew it. Travelers crossing between harsher lands would come down into this bowl and feel their bodies relax, the way yours is relaxing now, because water nearby changes everything. In those days, wealth did not always mean gold. Sometimes it meant a stretch of land where crops grew without pleading. Sometimes it meant a canal that held steady through summer. Sometimes it meant a date palm whose shade arrived like mercy at noon. And so, in the Kikar, people built homes, not tall ones, not proud ones, homes that sat close to the ground, made of mud brick that held the day's heat and released it slowly after sunset, homes with low doorways that asked you to bow your head just a little as you entered, like an unspoken reminder to be gentle. If you picture a single house now, let it be simple. A lamp inside, the flames small and steady, a woven mat, a bowl of water near the doorway, the smell of bread, warm, plain, honest, rising and fading like a memory. In the ancient world, hospitality was not a decorative virtue. It was a law written into survival itself. The desert was close, and in the desert, loneliness could kill. So when a traveler arrived, you offered water. You offered shade. You offered a place where the night could pass without teeth. In a way, it was the earliest form of community. And community is what we are building here too, right now, with your quiet attention and this slow voice in the dark. Here, no one rests alone. Every story from the past is a soft lantern in the dark, gently lighting our way tonight. Now, as the afternoon light tilts, imagine the Kikar changing color. The green becomes deeper, the shadows lengthen. The air cools just slightly, and somewhere a breeze begins to move along the channels, carrying the scent of wet earth and leaf. A traveler walks the path beside the water. Not you, though you may feel as if you are walking too, in that pleasant, drowsy way where the body lies still and the mind drifts forward. This traveler is a man named Lot. He is not a hero in the loud sense. He is not remembered for conquest. He is remembered for a doorway, for a decision, for the way a moment can fold a life into a legend. But tonight, we will not treat him like a statue. We will treat him like a person who is tired sometimes, who makes tea, who watches the sky, who tries to keep his household safe in a world that can change without warning. Lot lives near the edge of a city in the plain. The city is not described with loving detail in the old stories, perhaps because it is easier to describe the valley than the human heart. Yet we can imagine its outlines, walls made of sun-dried brick, streets narrow enough to hold shade, voices rising as evening approaches, the everyday rhythm of people coming home. And we can imagine something else too, the sense that the air is changing, not dramatically, not with thunder, just a little tightening, the way your chest tightens when you remember an unfinished email or a worry you were trying to forget. The way a room feels when an argument has happened earlier, and the silence afterward is not quite clean. Even in a peaceful valley, human noise can make the sky feel heavy. This is the murmur at the edge of our calm, the mended seam that tells you a story is about to move. Now the sun lowers. Gold appears along the horizon, the canals darken into lines of ink, the palms become silhouettes, their fronds like slow hands waving goodnight. And in that softened light, two figures arrive. They are simply travelers at first glance, dust on their sandals, cloaks catching the last warm glow. They do not announce themselves with grandeur. They do not sparkle. They do not demand attention. But Lot notices them immediately. Some part of him, the part that understands the old laws of survival and the quiet language of danger, recognizes that these two carry something unseen. Not menace, not peace. Something in between. Authority without anger. Purpose without haste. They approach the gate as if they know where they are. Lot steps forward. He bows. Not deeply, not theatrically, just enough. He invites them to rest, to wash their feet, to eat, to let the night pass behind a closed door. This is where the story becomes delicate. like a thread you can almost feel between your fingers. Because a closed door can be warmth, and it can be a boundary. And boundaries matter in history. They matter in the human mind too, the line between thinking and sleeping, between remembering and letting go, between holding on and loosening. As you listen, notice your own boundary gently shifting. Notice how the room you are in becomes softer around the edges, as if the corners are moving farther away. Lot's house receives the travelers. Water is brought. Bread is broken. A small lamp brightens. The evening settles into a quieter rhythm. Outside, the city continues its night sounds, footsteps, voices, a distant laugh, then the hush that follows when laughter fades. Inside, the travelers speak little. Sometimes the most unsettling presence is the one that does not need to speak to be felt. And yet, in our gentle telling, we do not chase fear. We do not sharpen the scene. We simply acknowledge that something is about to turn, as calmly as we acknowledge that the sky eventually turns from dusk into night. If tonight's story reminded you of a beautiful memory, feel free to share it below. For now, let your breath be slow again, in and out. As the lamp flame leans slightly, as if listening, a faint wind moves through the streets. It is not cold, it is not loud, it is simply different, as though it has traveled from far away and arrived carrying a message it cannot explain. And somewhere beyond the valley, beyond the palms and channels and quiet houses, the horizon waits, wide, pale, and still. Night arrives the way it often does in old valleys, without announcement, without urgency, as if it has been waiting politely at the edge of the fields until everyone is ready. Inside Lot's house, the lamp flame steadies. It makes a small circle of amber light on the floor, warm enough to soften the shadows. You can almost hear the gentle sound of water being poured into a shallow basin, and the quiet sigh that follows when tired feet meet cool water. Outside, the city breathes in a different rhythm. There is the scrape of a sandal on the stone, a murmur that rises and falls like a distant sea. A door closing somewhere, not hard, just firm. And above it all, the sky deepens into a velvet blue, one shade at a time, until the last thin line of dusk disappears. If you are listening in a dark room, you might notice the same thing here, how the world becomes simpler when light fades, how the mind stops collecting details and begins to rest inside bigger shapes, the shape of your blanket, the shape of your breathing, the shape of this story. Lot speaks softly to the visitors. He offers what he can: bread, water, a place to sit. In the ancient world, such simple gestures were not small. They were a kind of promise, a way of saying, for this night you are not alone. The two travelers accept without ceremony. Their calm feels unusual, not because it is cold, but because it is complete, as if they have already crossed many nights and learned that quiet is stronger than argument. And for a moment, everything seems settled. But history, even when told gently, often turns at the edge of a doorway. As the night grows deeper, the sounds outside gather. Not like a storm, not like a roar, more like a tightening of air, the way wind gathers itself before moving through a narrow pass. Lot hears it first. He pauses mid-breath. The lamp flame trembles once, as if the house itself is listening. The murmurs become clearer, voices in the street, footsteps that do not drift away, a restless energy that circles rather than passing by. You don't need to picture anything harsh. Keep it distant, like hearing people in a hallway when you are trying to sleep, unwanted, crowded, too awake. The city's noise presses close to the door, and the air inside the home becomes thick with the feeling of being watched. Lot stance. He moves toward the entrance, not quickly, but with the heavy care of someone who already knows the weight of the moment. The door is a boundary, and boundaries are where ancient stories teach their quiet lessons. He opens it only a little. The night outside looks darker than it did a moment ago, as if the street has swallowed the remaining light. Shapes gather beyond the threshold, human silhouettes shifting, restless, impatient. The air carries the sharpness of too many voices at once, and yet the two travelers remain calm. One of them speaks, not loudly, not with force, but with a kind of steady certainty that feels like a hand placed gently on a shoulder. Lot's breath shortens. He tries to negotiate, to soften the situation, to protect the peace inside his home. He speaks in the language of hospitality, in the old grammar of please and stay, as if kindness itself could widen the doorway into safety. But the crowd outside does not soften. So the travelers act, not with violence, not with spectacle. In the old telling, there is a moment described as blindness. Tonight, we will imagine it differently, not as punishment, not as horror, but as a sudden fog of disorientation, a soft veil thrown over the street, as if the air itself becomes confusing. Picture it like this: the night wind shifts, and with it, a thin haze drifts across the doorways and faces outside. People blink, they rub their eyes, they reach out and find only empty air where they expected a handle, a latch, a clear path. It is not pain, it is not blood, it is simply losing direction, like waking from a dream and not knowing for a few seconds where your room is. The crowd stumbles in small circles, hands out, voices rising in frustration, then fading into baffled silence. The street that seemed so sure of itself a moment ago becomes unfamiliar, like a map turned upside down. And in that brief confusion, Lot pulls the door closed. The latch settles with a soft click. Inside, the lamp glows steadily again, and the home feels like the only island of warmth in a sea of restless night. Maybe, as you listen, you can treat this moment like a small ritual of your own. Imagine you are placing the day's thoughts into a bowl, one by one, without judging them. A message you didn't answer, a conversation you replayed, a worry that kept returning like a bird tapping on a window. You don't have to fix any of it tonight. You simply notice it, thank it for trying to protect you, and let it rest. Then you set the bowl down, you turn the lamp lower in your mind, you allow the hallway noises of the world to blur, until only your breath remains, steady and kind, like water in the dark. And in that quiet, your eyelids can feel heavier, softer, safer now. If your own mind has been restless lately, let that click be for you, too. A quiet closing, a gentle boundary, one breath in and one breath out. The travelers turn to Lot, and their voices remain low, almost kind. They speak of leaving, not tomorrow, not when it is convenient. Soon. Before morning fully arrives, there is no long explanation, no heavy lecture, just the simple truth that sometimes safety is found in motion, and sometimes the wisest thing a person can do is to step away before a place becomes too crowded with its own noise. Lot listens. In the dim light, you can imagine his face, tired, conflicted, pulled between familiarity and survival. Leaving is never easy. Even a troubled home can hold memories, and memories can feel like roots. Have you ever noticed how the hardest part of letting go is not the thing itself, but the small, everyday pieces attached to it? The cup you always use, the chair by the window, the way the evening light falls on a familiar wall. Lot looks around his home, the woven mat, the bowl of water, the lamp, the ordinary objects that suddenly look precious because they might be left behind. The travelers urge him gently but firmly, gather your household. Wake the ones who must wake. Take what you can carry without straining your hands, and do not linger. In the old story, there is a warning not to look back. Tonight, we will hold that warning softly, not as a threat, but as a practice, a way of stepping forward without feeding the mind with images it cannot change. It is the same practice we use when we try to sleep. We let the day go without replaying it. We let the past loosen its grip. We do not stare at the doorway of what already happened. We simply turn and we move. Outside, the fog of confusion still drifts through the street. The city, for once, feels slowed, its certainty dulled, its sharpness softened. Even the footsteps sound less clear, as if the stones themselves have grown sleepy. Lot wakes his family. Not with shouting, not with panic, just with hushed voices, hands touching shoulders, the quiet urgency of a household rising before dawn. There is the rustle of fabric, a clay cup set down, a child's small question answered with a whisper, a bundle tied with a strip of cloth, and through it all the night continues to darken as if it is giving them time. If you want, imagine the moon above the valley, pale, calm, almost indifferent. Moonlight does not judge. It only reveals the gentle outlines of things, the curve of a roof, the line of a canal, the narrow path leading out of the city. At last, they step outside. The air is cooler now, the silence feels larger, and beyond the walls the valley waits, open and quiet, like a wide bed made of earth and starlight. They begin to walk, not running, not racing, walking with the steady pace of people who must keep moving, but who have no need to waste their breath on fear. This is where the story's time rail becomes clear. Night carries them forward, and the coming dawn will carry them farther. As they move away, the city behind them grows softer, less distinct. Its noises fade into the background hum of the world. The fog that once confused the street begins to thin, trailing behind like a loose scarf. And ahead, the land opens. The kikar, the green bowl, lies sleeping. The canals are dark ribbons now, reflecting small patches of starlight. The palms stand still, their fronds barely moving, like slow hands resting at their sides. Lot's steps find the path beside the water, and as he walks, the night air touches his skin with a coolness that feels almost like relief. Sometimes leaving a place is not a loss. Sometimes it is the first quiet moment of healing. If tonight's story brought you calm, leave a gentle comment for yourself. And if you can, notice your breathing again, in and out. The horizon begins to change. At first, it is almost nothing, just a slight thinning of darkness in one direction, as if the sky is about to exhale. Then, slowly, the valley's shapes return. The line of a hill, the faint texture of the plain, the pale suggestion of the distant salt shore. Dawn is arriving, and with dawn, the story will show us its strangest, gentlest image, something far away on the horizon, not close enough to fear, only close enough to witness like a dream. For now, keep walking with them softly into the first light. The night does not end all at once. It loosens gradually like a knot that has been held too tight all day. First, the darkness becomes thinner at the horizon, then the stars seem to step back, politely, making room for a faint wash of color, an almost imperceptible grey-blue, like the inside of a seashell. Lot and his household keep walking. Their footsteps are quiet, softened by dust and the gentle give of earth. The path beside the channels is familiar, but in this hour it feels different, as if the valley has turned into a long, sleeping corridor and they are moving through it without wanting to wake it. No frantic motion, no sharp fear, just a steady procession guided by breath and necessity, guided by the simple truth that sometimes, to stay alive, you must keep moving. The canals lie dark, but you can hear them, water shifting under reeds, making a sound that is neither loud nor silent, a soft in-between that calms the mind. Palm silhouettes stand along the edges of fields. Somewhere a bird stirs, uncertain whether to greet the dawn yet. And above them, the sky begins to glow, slowly, as though someone is lifting a lamp behind a curtain. As they walk, the city behind them becomes smaller. Its walls dissolve into shadow. Its noise, once pressing, restless, fades until it becomes only a memory of sound. There is something tender about leaving a place at night. In daylight, departure can feel like a statement. At night, it becomes a whisper. You slip away without argument, without witnesses, as if the world itself understands that some decisions do not need an audience. Lot does not speak much. He listens to the breathing of those beside him. He counts their steps unconsciously, the way you might count your own breaths when you are trying to calm down. 1, 2, 3, until the mind stops racing and begins to float. If you'd like, you can do that now. In 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They reach a place where the valley opens wider and the land feels less sheltered. Here, the air carries a faint dryness, as if the desert has leaned closer during the night. The soil underfoot becomes paler, the plants are fewer. And somewhere ahead, the hills rise low and calm, like sleeping animals under a blanket of dawn. The two travelers move with a quiet certainty. They do not rush Lot, but their presence keeps the household from slowing too much, keeps them from drifting into indecision. The light strengthens. A thin line of gold appears at the edge of the world. The tops of the palms catch it first, and suddenly the fronds have a faint outline of fire, as if dawn is drawing them with a fine brush. Then the fields return softly. Textures emerge, the ridges of irrigated soil, the low curves of embankments, the faint shimmer of water where the canal turns. And the Dead Sea, still far, still quiet, begins to show itself as a broad, dark mirror, heavier than ordinary water, holding the sky in a solemn stillness. In that direction, the shoreline looks pale. Salt has its own kind of brightness. Even in dim light, it suggests itself like frost, like a thin crust of time. And yet, the valley around Lot is still, at least for now, alive. The household continues toward the hills. The path rises slightly. Their legs begin to feel the climb. And with each step upward, the valley behind them widens in view, becoming a basin of shadow and pale light. Lot's mind tugs gently toward the city, toward the familiar shape of rooftops, the remembered sound of voices, the life he knew. In the old story, there is a line, "Do not look back." Tonight, we treat that line like a lullaby instruction. Not because looking back is sinful, but because looking back can trap the mind in images that cannot be changed. It can keep the body from moving into safety. So Lot keeps his gaze forward, and you can too. If your mind tries to replay something from today, let it pass like a cloud. You can simply return to the sound of water, the soft rhythm of footsteps, the gentle widening light of dawn. The hills draw nearer, the air becomes cooler again. Surprisingly, because the wind up here moves more freely. It brushes the skin like a slow hand, and it carries a faint scent of stone. They come to a ridge. Not a dramatic peak, just a place high enough to see the valley clearly, like a balcony where the earth has paused to look at itself. And here, the dawn spreads fully. The sky is no longer grey-blue. It becomes a pale, open silk, soft, clean, untroubled. The sun is not yet fully risen, but its presence is unmistakable. The valley below looks almost peaceful. Canals, fields, palms, and the distant sheen of the strange sea. For a moment, you could believe that nothing has happened, that this is only another morning in the Kikar, another day beginning slowly. Lot's household pauses, not long, just a breath, as if the body needs to register the beauty before moving on. And then, on the far horizon, near where the city sits, the light changes. It is subtle at first. A brightness that does not belong to sunrise. A whiteness that feels too intense to be morning. It blooms briefly like a flash of distant lightning, but without thunder. Then, in the space after it, something rises. Not fast, not violently. A column pale at the base, darker higher up, standing straight against the brightening sky like smoke from a kiln. Tonight, we keep it distant and quiet, like a dream image viewed from far away through morning haze. We do not linger on harm. We only describe what the eye might see from a ridge, a horizon that suddenly looks different, a world that has shifted in a way the mind cannot fully explain. The column rises steady, almost calm in its shape, like a plume from a great furnace, like a single breath from the earth itself. Lot stands very still. From this distance, the city is only a cluster of low shapes, as small as pebbles in a riverbed. The ridge wind smooths the scene, and the morning haze lays a thin veil over everything that might have felt sharp in the night. Even the column on the horizon looks almost like a brushstroke on wet paper, dark, then lighter, then dissolving at the edges. If your mind wants to tighten around it, let it soften instead. You can watch without gripping. You can witness without solving. Sometimes the kindest thing is to let questions stay unanswered until the body is safe. Inhale gently, as if drawing in the pale light. Exhale slowly, as if placing your worries on the ground beside you. And if you need a small reminder, take it now. You are here, you are breathing, and for this moment, that is enough. Somewhere below, water keeps moving through the channels unseen from this height, continuing its work without asking permission. That steady movement can be yours too. If your eyelids feel heavy, let them be heavy. If your thoughts drift, let them drift like birds gliding across morning air. No one rests alone on this quiet ridge. And in that stillness you can feel the strange weight of history, how a place can change while you are walking away from it, how the past can become a story in the time it takes the sun to rise. The travelers do not look at the plume for long. Their calm does not change, but their purpose does not soften either. They lead the household onward, away from the valley's bowl, toward higher ground where the air is clearer. As they walk, the sunlight grows warmer. It begins to touch their shoulders. It lights the stones underfoot. It turns the dust in the air into a delicate shimmer like tiny drifting stars. And slowly, the column behind them becomes less distinct. Distance is a kind of mercy. When we are far enough away, the mind stops trying to control what it cannot. It begins to accept. It begins to loosen its grip. Lot's chest rises and falls. With every exhale, something releases, a piece of the city, a piece of the life he thought he would keep forever, a piece of his certainty. If you have ever had to let go of something, not dramatically but quietly, like setting down a cup you have held too long, you may recognize this feeling. It is the in-between where the soul learns how to be lighter. As morning fully arrives, the hills around them brighten. You can see small plants clinging to rock. You can hear a bird now, more confident, greeting the sun with a single note. And beneath it all, there is still the memory of water. Because even if the valley changes, the human longing for a gentle place remains. That longing is ancient. It crosses millennia. It is the same longing that brought you here tonight, to a quiet story, to a soft voice, to the hope that you can finally rest. So let the ridge be your ridge. Let the distant plume be the far-off image you do not need to analyze. You don't need to decide what caused it tonight. You only need to feel the way the story moves, from dusk to night to dawn, from noise to quiet, from anxious tightness to open air. And as the household continues into the morning, the valley behind them fades into brightness and haze, like a memory dissolving the moment you wake. One more breath in and out, long and slow. Ahead, the story will turn from legend toward something quieter, toward the way the earth remembers, the way salt tells its truth without speaking, the way time hides its clues in clay and dust. But for now we simply keep walking, letting the morning hold us, letting the mind soften, letting the heart become still. By late morning, the ridge where Lot walked has become only a bright line behind the eyes. In the valley below, the air shimmers with heat. Sunlight lies across the plain like a pale cloth. And somewhere near the strange, still water, the ground looks almost white, salt bright enough to make you squint, even in your imagination. Time moves forward, quietly. Days become years, years become centuries. Voices fade into dust, canals fill and empty until their paths are only faint scars in the soil. The stories remain, passed from hearth to hearth, softened by repetition, shaped by fear and hope, carried like a small ember through generations. And then, much later, the ember becomes a question, not a sharp question, not an urgent one, a gentle curiosity. What happened here? What did this valley used to be? And what does the earth still hold? Tonight, we let the legend drift into the background, and we step into a quieter room, one where the main character is not a person, but the ground itself. Because the earth remembers in its own way, not with sentences, but with layers, not with arguments, but with minerals, not with accusation, but with patient recording. Salt does not lie, it does not need to, it only sits and it stays. Imagine a shoreline at the edge of the Dead Sea, long after the ancient story has settled into scripture and myth. The water is heavy and dark, holding the sky like a mirror that has forgotten how to ripple. White crusts of salt form uneven patterns along the rocks, some like lace, some like frost, some like dried tears. The air is still, as if sound has weight here. A visitor stands at a distance, not seeking drama, only looking, only letting the place be what it is, quiet, immense, and strangely soothing, like an empty room that echoes softly when you breathe. If you want, let your own shoulders soften again. This is the part of the story where we stop running and start listening, not to voices, to textures, to small details. If you are awake enough to notice your room, notice it kindly, the surface beneath you, the weight of your blanket, the small, steady temperature of the air on your cheeks. Nothing needs to change. You can let the story do the work, the way water does the work of smoothing stone, without effort, without debate. In this valley, even the wind seems to speak softly. It slides over salt crust and dry reeds, making a thin, whispering sound like pages turning in a distant library. And when the wind pauses, the silence feels full rather than empty, as if the land is holding its breath. Here, you can rest inside that pause. Inhale slowly, as though you are breathing in sunlight. Exhale longer, as though you are releasing a thought you've been carrying all day. One more time. In and out. Did you notice your shoulders dropping even a little? In the modern world, there are people who come to such places with notebooks and soft brushes. People who move slowly, who speak in low voices out of respect for the silence. Their tools are simple: a trowel, a brush, a sieve, a camera that clicks softly and then stops. They lay out string lines on the ground, making a grid as orderly as a quilt. Each square is a promise: we will not rush. We will let the story show itself at its own pace. You brush away dust from a fragment of clay, the way you might brush lint from a sleeve, quietly, with care, not wanting to damage what time has preserved. Under the sun, the soil can look ordinary, but when you kneel close, you begin to see differences. A thin band of darker earth, a layer with more ash, a patch with tiny stones that do not match the rest. The ground is a book written in textures, and it reveals itself only to someone who reads slowly. A hand moves a brush. Dust lifts, and something small appears. A shard of pottery, curved like a fallen leaf. Its edge is jagged, but its surface catches light in a strange way. Too smooth, too glossy, as if it once met a heat so intense it changed its skin. The researcher pauses. They hold the shard in the shade of their palm. They turn it slightly. The surface shines, but not like new glass. It shines like something ancient that has been sleeping under sand and suddenly remembers the sun. This is a soft discovery, not a loud one, just a small object whispering. Something happened here. The shard is set carefully into a padded box. Another brush stroke reveals another piece, and another. Soon there is a small collection, fragments with edges softened by time, surfaces partly melted, as if the clay had been kissed by a moment of fierce warmth and then left to cool in silence. No one shouts, no one claims certainty. They simply note it gently, because science, at its best, is a kind of humility. It does not need to win, it only needs to observe. The day advances, heat thickens, the air above the salt shore trembles. The researchers move slower now, letting their bodies match the pace of the place. And then comes another discovery, smaller still. They sift soil through a fine screen, and inside the mesh, tiny beads remain. Little spheres, some are dark, some are pale, some catch the light with a soft sparkle, like dust floating in a sunbeam in your room. They look like nothing at first, but under a lens they become more interesting. Roundness is not common in nature at this scale unless something has shaped it: heat, pressure, motion. The researcher leans closer. The lens glows with a faint yellow light. And there, inside the quiet circle of magnification, the tiny spheres look almost like a miniature night sky, points of brightness scattered in a dark field. One bead, then another, then a few more. Your attention narrows, but it does not tighten. It rests. What could create such beads? There are many possibilities, and we do not need to choose one tonight. We do not need numbers or units or arguments. We only need a gentle image. Some researchers speak of a brightness in the sky long ago, a brief flash above the valley, like a star arriving too close, touching the air with energy, and then vanishing. An airburst. A moment that lasts less than a breath and then is gone, leaving altered clay, softened stones and tiny spheres that cooled as they fell. It is not a punishment in this telling, it is simply an event, a sudden boundary of nature, like lightning, like wildfire, started by dry wind, like an earthquake that reminds us the ground is alive beneath its crust. And the earth, as always, records. Not with blame, with layers. Here is the gentle twist. The story did not end in words. It continued in the soil. It continued in salt. It continued in clay that endured fire and in fragments that endured time. Clay is one of the quiet heroes of civilization. It is humble, common, soft in the hand, but when it meets heat, it hardens. And when a person presses marks into it, simple lines, careful strokes, It becomes a message that can last far longer than a human life. Imagine an ancient tablet now. You can feel its texture, rough, warm, slightly dusty. Your fingertip moves along shallow grooves. You do not need to read the language to sense the human presence inside it. Someone sat under a low lamp and wanted to be remembered. History is often this, not drama, but a quiet attempt to leave a trace. And it is what you are doing too in your own way, simply by living. If you've been carrying heavy thoughts lately, let this be a softer thought. You do not have to be loud to matter. Sometimes the most lasting things are the ones made slowly, gently, in silence. Now, as evening comes again in our imagination, let us move from the sunlit dig site to a museum. Thick walls keep the heat outside. Warm lights glow above glass cases. Footsteps are muffled. People speak in whispers without being told to. A researcher stands before a display of pottery shards. Another case holds a small tray of tiny spheres, each one no bigger than a seed. Labels are printed in calm fonts. Dates are listed, but we do not linger on them. We are not here to count. We are here to feel the calm of continuity, the way the past is not gone, only stored. The researcher lifts a shard with gloved hands. They tilt it under the light, watching the glossy surface catch a soft glow. They do not perform excitement. They simply breathe, and perhaps they feel what you feel now, listening in the dark, a quiet reverence. Because when you realize the earth remembers, you don't have to. You don't have to carry every worry like a stone in your pocket. Some things can be set down. Some questions can be left in the soil until another day. Tonight, you can let the story rest where it belongs. In the salt air, in the clay fragments, sleeping behind glass, in the small beads that look like tiny stars. And you can let your own thoughts soften too. One slow breath in and a longer breath out. Did you notice how your mind became calmer when we looked at something small? If so, let that be a gentle tool for you. When anxiety grows big, choose something tiny, a sound, a texture, a single breath. Let the small thing guide you back to stillness. In the next part, we will let the discoveries settle into meaning, not as a warning, but as a quiet lesson about limits, humility, and the way time holds us all with the same patient hands. For now, let the museum lights dim in your mind. Let the glass shine softly once, then let it fade. The museum grows quiet as night falls outside its walls. In the last room, the glass cases hold their small constellations of evidence. Pottery with a surface that gleams, grains of sand that once met unusual heat, tiny beads shaped into roundness and cooled into silence. The labels are tidy, the lighting is warm, everything looks calm, as if the past has finally found a safe shelf to sleep on. And in a way, it has, because the earth is an archivist that never gets tired. It does not rush, it does not argue, it does not punish. It simply keeps what happened layer after layer until someone comes along with patience enough to listen. If your own mind has been loud lately, this is a gentle place to rest. The idea that you don't have to hold every memory so tightly. Some things are already being held for you by time, by stone, by salt, by the quiet persistence of the world. Outside the museum, the evening air cools. A streetlight hums softly. Somewhere a bus passes and then the sound fades away. The modern night continues, full of its own small movements, its own soft machinery of life. But inside the story, we step back toward the valley again, as if our imagination is a slow camera gliding through darkness. The Dead Sea shoreline returns, pale, still, and strangely soothing. The water is heavy, not for swimming, but for reflecting. Salt crusts bloom along rock edges like delicate white flowers. The horizon is flat enough to quiet the mind, and the heat even when present, feels like a blanket rather than a threat. This is where reflection begins, not as a sermon, not as a warning, as a quiet thought that arrives when you are finally still enough to hear it. The thought is simple. The ground does not judge. It does not label people as good or bad. It does not shout, "This is what you deserved." It only records what happened the way a calm librarian stamps a date inside a book and returns it to the shelf. Salt does not lie when salt does not condemn. It simply stays. And if the earth can hold its memories without anger, perhaps we can learn something from that softness. Perhaps we can hold our own lives with a gentler hand. If you've been carrying blame about something you did or didn't do, let the shoreline be a place where blame dissolves. Imagine a thin line of salt at the edge of water. Watch it brighten, then soften, then blur. Not because it disappears, but because it becomes part of something wider. The water accepts it. The air accepts it. Time accepts it. You can accept yourself that way too. One slow breath in, one longer breath out. Now, in the old story, people often want to know why. Why did the city fall silent? Why did the horizon change at dawn? Why do legends cling to this place like dust clings to sandals? And in the modern world, people also want why. Why did my life turn this way? Why do I feel tired even when I rest? Why does my mind rehearse the same worries at midnight? But tonight, we do not force a why. We let why become a softer question, the kind you can place on a bedside table and answer later. Instead, we listen to what the earth teaches in silence. What the layers suggest is not that the world is cruel, but that the world has boundaries. Sometimes the boundary is water, a river that divides land. Sometimes it is stone, a ridge that holds back a flood. Sometimes it is heat, a line the air cannot cross without changing. Boundaries are not always punishments. Often, boundaries are what make life possible. They keep the sea from swallowing the shore. They keep the fire from eating every tree. They keep the night from lasting forever. Even sleep is a boundary, a gentle wall between the day's noise and the mind's quiet restoration. And if you think of it that way, the ancient valley becomes a metaphor, not for fear, but for humility. A reminder that human life is tender and that tenderness is not weakness. It is an invitation to live carefully, kindly, and with gratitude. Imagine a person long ago walking beside the canal at dusk holding a clay jar. They are not thinking about cosmic forces. They are thinking about water, bread, family, shade. They are living in small circles of care. Then imagine a person today, maybe you, moving through your own evening, carrying your own invisible jar of responsibilities, messages, deadlines, decisions, people you love, people you worry about. Your life is also made of small circles, a cup of tea, a quiet room, a familiar pillow, a voice you trust. Across time, the circles rhyme. The past and the present are not enemies. They are neighbors, separated only by layers of dust. And those layers, strangely, can make the heart feel less alone. Here, no one rests alone. Every story from the past is a soft lantern in the dark, gently lighting our way tonight. If you want a gentle question to hold for a moment, try this. When was the last time you felt truly safe? Not perfectly safe, just safe enough to exhale. Maybe it was a morning light through curtains. Maybe it was the sound of rain. Maybe it was a quiet drive with no need to speak. Maybe it was a kitchen at night when the house had gone still and you could hear the refrigerator humming like a lullaby. If you can remember it, let it return now, just the sensation, not the details. Let it settle in your chest like warm water. And notice how quickly the body responds to safety. The shoulders drop, the face softens, the breath lengthens. The mind stops insisting on answers. Safety is not always a place. Sometimes it is a rhythm, and rhythm is what the valley gives us in this story. Dusk to night to dawn. Water moving through channels, wind moving over salt, a slow camera glide across time. That rhythm is a bridge. It carries us from legend to learning, from learning to tenderness. Now let's return for a moment to clay. Clay begins as softness you can shape with your fingers. It yields, it listens, it holds the imprint of whatever touches it, your thumb, a reed stylus, the curve of a palm. Then clay meets heat, and it becomes something else, durable, quiet, lasting. In ancient Mesopotamia, people pressed their lives into clay tablets, grain counts, contracts, prayers, stories, small human attempts to speak across time. They didn't need their words to be loud, they only needed them to endure. That is the gentle miracle. Clay can survive fire, and writing can survive years, and a small human moment can travel far beyond its original day. If the pottery shards in the valley tell a story of sudden heat, the tablets tell a story of steady intention. They are two forms of memory, one accidental, one chosen, and you too carry both kinds. There are memories that happen to you, sudden, surprising, sometimes confusing, and there are memories you choose. Small daily rituals, kindnesses, the way you spoke gently when you could have been sharp, the way you kept going. Tonight you don't have to sort them, you only have to let them be held. Imagine placing your memories into the earth's care for a while, the way a museum stores fragile objects behind glass, not to lock them away forever, just to give them rest. You can whisper silently, "I'll come back to you later." And then you can turn toward sleep. If your mind is still busy, here is another soft question with no pressure to answer. What would it feel like to live more slowly? Not to do less necessarily, but to move with fewer sharp edges, to speak with more air between words, to eat with more attention, to walk as if the ground is worthy of being noticed. In the valley, people once lived close to the pace of light. They rose with dawn, they worked under the sun, they rested when the dark arrived. Their bodies followed the sky's schedule. Your life may not allow that simplicity, but your breath can. Your breath is an ancient tool, older than any city. Inhale and feel the ribs expand like a quiet tent. Exhale and let the exhale be longer, like a river taking its time to reach the sea. Now in the distance, the Dead Sea holds the moon's reflection. Salt glows faintly. The shoreline looks like a pale seam stitched between water and land. It is not dramatic. It is simply there, like a reminder that edges can be gentle. And that is the lesson we carry forward. There are limits in the world, but limits can be merciful. And they tell us when to stop, when to rest, when to leave a question for morning, when to let a story sleep. If this part of the story touched something tender in you, you can leave a gentle comment below. Just a word or a small phrase like placing a pebble on a quiet path. And if your eyelids are growing heavy, let them be heavy. And maybe, as you listen, you can imagine the valley as a bowl not only of water, but of silence. A bowl that gathers what you don't need to carry tonight. The sharp sentence you wish you hadn't said, the meeting that kept replaying, the news that made your stomach tighten. Picture those thoughts as fine sand. With each exhale, let the sand pour gently into the bowl, settling, smoothing, becoming quiet until it lies flat like first light. The next part will carry us deeper into the night again, back through the valley's long memory, toward the softest kind of ending. Not a conclusion, but a settling. For now, let the earth keep its secrets kindly. Let the salt shine once more and then fade. Let the water stay still. Let your mind become still too. The night returns in the way it always does, softly, without asking permission. In the valley, the heat of day has folded itself away. The stones release their warmth slowly, as if they are breathing out. The air becomes thinner, clearer, and the Dead Sea, dark and heavy, holds the first stars with an almost perfect stillness. If you imagine the shoreline now, let it be quiet enough to hear your own thoughts settling. A thin wind slides over salt, making a faint sound like silk, brushing silk. It gathers no speed. It carries no threat. It simply moves and then pauses and then moves again, like a patient teacher repeating a lesson without words. Somewhere far from here, in a modern laboratory, a different kind of quiet exists. Not the quiet of open sky, but the quiet of fluorescent light and careful hands. A researcher places a small pottery shard on a tray. Another sets a tiny bead beneath a lens. Screens glow with gentle graphs, but tonight we do not lean into numbers. We only lean into the feeling. Humans, in their best moments, can be as patient as the earth. They can look without grabbing. They can wonder without shouting. The researcher turns the shard under a lamp. The glossy surface catches the light the way moonlight catches water. Briefly, softly, and then it slips away. And in that soft glimmer, the mind begins to understand something important. The past is not a single story. It is layers of stories resting on one another, sometimes in harmony, sometimes in tension, always held together by time's quiet glue. A legend says a city vanished, a shoreline says salt remained, a shard says heat touched clay, a bead says air once brightened. None of these voices need to be loud to be real. If you have ever had two feelings at once, relief and sadness, love and exhaustion, you already know this kind of truth. Life is rarely one note, it is a chord. Tonight, we allow the chord to be gentle. We do not force the legend to fight the science. We do not force the science to erase the legend. We let them sit side by side like two lamps in the same room, each lighting a different corner. And in that shared light, something soft unfolds. A sense of connection, because the people who told the old story were not trying to create suspense for an audience. They were trying to hold meaning. They were trying to explain the feeling of a place that changed, the way a community can suddenly go quiet, the way a landscape can become a warning without needing a voice. And the people who study the ground today are not trying to steal mystery. They are trying to listen to what remains. Both are forms of care. Now imagine walking again, this time not with Lot, but with a modern traveler. You arrive at the Dead Sea at dusk. The sky is lavender, then indigo. The hills become silhouette. You can smell minerals in the air, clean and sharp like stone after rain. You take slow steps over crusted salt, careful not to slip, and you find a place to sit. The ground is cold under you. The water is so still it looks like a sheet of obsidian. You watch the last sunlight fade. You watch the first star appear. And you begin to feel the strange thing that happens in wide landscapes. Your problems shrink, not because they are unimportant, but because your body remembers scale. It remembers that the world is bigger than a single deadline, bigger than a single mistake, bigger than a single night of worry. If you can, let your breath lengthen here. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now in your imagination, you reach into your pocket and pull out something small. Not a phone, a piece of clay, a small tablet, warm from the day, with shallow marks pressed into it. Maybe you bought it at a museum shop, a replica, smooth enough to hold without splinters, heavy enough to feel real. You run your fingertip across the grooves. You cannot read them, but you can feel the intention. A human hand once moved like this, slow, deliberate, careful. A person once wanted their words to last longer than their voice could. This is another kind of softness, the softness of endurance. Clay endures fire, words endure time. And even when cities fade, the human wish to be remembered does not disappear. It only changes form. Tonight, as you hold the clay, you might notice something in yourself. You also want to be held, not in applause, not in attention, in quiet understanding. So let the story hold you. Here, no one rests alone. The wind shifts, the water remains still. A thin line of moonlight appears on the surface, as if the sky has laid down a silver ribbon, and the mind, lulled by stillness, begins to drift. In that drifting, a thought rises, not sharp, not demanding. What if the earth's memories are not meant to scare us, but to teach us how to live gently? Because when you stand at the edge of a place like this, you realize something. Nature does not speak in threats. It speaks in patterns, in cycles of wet and dry, in the slow shaping of rock, in the way heat can arrive suddenly and in the way quiet can arrive afterward. The lesson is not be afraid. The lesson is be humble. Humility is not humiliation. It is simply the ability to see yourself as part of a larger whole, to accept that you do not control everything and that you do not have to. This is where sleep begins to feel possible, because when you stop trying to control everything, your muscles unclench, your breath deepens, your thoughts become less sharp at the edges. If you notice any tightness in your body, choose one place to soften: your forehead, your tongue resting in your mouth, your shoulders, your hands. Let them loosen as if you are placing them gently on a pillow. Now, the traveler in our story stands and begins to walk along the shoreline. The salt crunches softly underfoot. A distant dog barks once, then stops. The night is spacious enough to hold silence without making it lonely. And then, in the distance, you see a small building, a research station, modest, low, with one warm light in a window. You approach it slowly, and inside you find a table. On the table lies a map of the valley, old and new, layered together. Lines of canals, names of hills. A blank space where the city once was, as if the paper itself is respectful. Beside the map, there is a notebook open to a page of careful handwriting. On a nearby shelf, there are replicas from another river world, Sumer, far to the east, where the Tigris and Euphrates once braided through reeds the way the Jordan does here. The tablets are small, palm-sized, with wedge-shaped marks that look like tiny footprints in dried mud. A scribe long ago would have sat low to the ground, the door open to evening air, listening to insects and distant water while the stylus moved. They were not writing to impress anyone. They were writing so that tomorrow would be a little more stable than today, so that a promise could stay a promise, so that grain could be counted, so that a name could be remembered in a world where names vanish quickly. And maybe that is why these valleys soothe us. Because your own life is also held together by attention. Emails answered, bills paid, lunches packed, small promises kept. The modern world can make attention feel like a strain, like a muscle that never gets to rest. But here in this story, attention becomes gentle again. It becomes a slow brush over dust, a careful line on a tablet, a hand placed on a door latch without slamming. If you are listening after a long day, let that be your permission. You can stop tracking everything now. You can release the list in your mind. You can let the river of thoughts keep flowing without you stepping into it. You are allowed to be off duty in the soft dark. Even history, when told kindly, is not work. It is a slow hand smoothing the mind to sleep. No drama, just observations. Surface glaze on ceramic fragments, rounded microbeads in sediment, layer of altered soil. Each line is a small act of listening. The traveler reads not to solve the whole mystery, but to feel the tenderness of attention, to feel how gently humans can touch the past when they choose patience over spectacle. Then the traveler closes the notebook, not with finality, with quiet gratitude. Outside, the moon rises higher, the shoreline brightens slightly, the salt seems to glow. And somewhere in the dark, the valley rests, holding its layers like folded blankets. And this is the moment we allow ourselves to rest too. If tonight's story brought you calm, leave a gentle comment for yourself, just a word, like soft, or still, or breathe. And if your eyelids are heavy, let them close halfway. The water does not move. The stars do not hurry. Time does not demand anything from you in this moment. One more inhale, slow and easy. One more exhale, long and warm. And as you exhale, imagine placing the small clay tablet back into your pocket, as if you are keeping a lantern with you, not a bright lantern, not a waking lantern, but a soft lantern meant for the last steps before sleep. Ahead, our journey will drift farther into deep time toward other river valleys, other clay tablets, other quiet civilizations whose lives were built from water and patience. But for now, we stay here at the edge of the still sea, letting the night hold us. Let the shoreline blur, let the light soften, let the story become quieter than your thoughts, and when you are ready, let yourself drift. Somewhere after midnight, when the room around you has become softer than thought, the story can travel farther than maps. The Dead Sea shore fades behind us, not as an ending, but as a quiet closing of one chapter. The salt brightens once, then disappears into darkness. The heavy water becomes only a memory of stillness, like a mirror you no longer need to look into. And now, very gently, we move east, across deserts that breathe slowly, across low hills that hold their shadows like folded cloth, toward another landscape shaped by water and patience. You do not need to picture every mile. Let the journey be like drifting in a slow train at night, half asleep, watching lights appear and fade through the window. Let the world pass without effort. Let your mind keep only what feels calm, the idea of rivers, the feeling of reeds, the hush of distant wind. Ahead, two great rivers begin to appear in the imagination, as if drawn in ink across old parchment, the Tigris, the Euphrates. Even their names sound like flowing. They are not just rivers, they are long, moving corridors of life, carrying silt, carrying seeds, carrying the promise of green in a world that can be dry and bright and harsh. Between them lies a land people later called Mesopotamia, between the rivers. A simple phrase for a miraculous idea that life can gather where water is willing to stay. If you have ever stood beside a river and felt your thoughts slow down, you already understand why the earliest cities grew here. Water gives the mind a rhythm. It offers a sound that never insists. It repeats itself with quiet trust, again and again and again. And repetition, when gentle, becomes comfort. Tonight, imagine the riverbank at dusk. Not a dramatic dusk, just the soft fading of light as the sky turns from pale gold to lavender to deep blue. Reeds sway, insects begin their tiny music, a low breeze moves across the water, and the surface catches the last sun in broken fragments, as if the river is holding small pieces of light. A boat drifts close to shore. It is simple: wood, rope, a shallow hull that knows the river's moods. A person stands in it steady, using a pole to guide the craft through quiet water. They are not rushing. They are not performing. They are simply moving with the current, the way a tired mind can move with the story. Farther back from the water, you can see a settlement, mud brick houses low to the ground, arranged like warm stones gathered close for the night. Smoke rises from cooking fires, thin and calm. A dog lies near a doorway, half asleep. Somewhere, a child laughs once, then the sound dissolves, swallowed by the evening air. This is not an empire yet, not in the loud sense. It is a place of daily life, a place where people measure time by light and harvest, and the height of the river. A place where, when night comes, lamps glow like small moons inside windows. If you want to make the scene even softer, imagine that you are walking slowly along the edge of the settlement. Your feet feel the packed earth. Your shoulders are relaxed, your breath is steady. Inhale and feel the air cool at the nostrils. Exhale and let the exhale be longer, like the river taking its time. You are safe here. The modern world is far away. No notifications can reach you on this riverbank. Now, in one modest house, a scribe sits, not a grand scribe with robes and ceremony, but a working person with steady hands. The door is open to catch the evening breeze. The lamp is low. The room smells faintly of clay and smoke and grain. On the floor beside the scribe is a small lump of wet clay, wrapped in damp cloth so it won't dry too quickly. The clay is river clay, soft, fine, responsive, the kind that holds an imprint like memory holds a face. The scribe takes a reed stylus cut at the end into a simple wedge. They press it into the clay, one mark, then another. Then a careful line of marks that looks to our modern eyes like tiny bird tracks in mud. And this is cuneiform, one of the earliest writing systems we know. It is not made for decoration. It is made for endurance. It is made for the calm work of remembering. A list of barley, a count of sheep, a promise between families, a small prayer to a god of water, because water is everything here. The scribe's movements are slow. The stylus lifts and presses in a rhythm that could lull a person to sleep. The marks appear like quiet footsteps, one after another, across the tablet's soft surface. If your mind has been busy tonight, you can borrow this rhythm. Imagine your thoughts as marks in clay. You do not need to erase them. You only need to stop carving new ones for a while. Let the stylus rest. Let the tablet lie still. Did you notice time slowing down again just now? Outside, the settlement prepares for night. A woman pours water into a bowl. Someone breaks bread. A curtain moves in the breeze. The river continues to whisper, and the sky becomes darker, thick with stars. The scribe finishes the tablet and sets it aside to dry. Later, it may be, or accidentally hardened by fire, and that hardening, intentional or not, will carry the marks forward through centuries. Clay endures. It endures the way you endure day after day, even when you feel tired. It endures not by shouting, but by staying. Now let us widen the view slightly, like a camera pulling back. The river plain stretches outward. Fields lie in careful rectangles, irrigated by channels that glitter faintly under moonlight. Palm trees stand in rows like patient guardians. Beyond them, the desert begins, pale and quiet, waiting at the edges. This is the gentle paradox of the river world. Abundance in the middle, dryness at the borders. And because abundance can disappear if the river changes, people here become careful. They learn to share water. They learn to time their planting. They learn that community is not only kindness, it is coordination, a slow agreement to move together. If that sounds familiar, it's because you live in a modern version of it. You also depend on systems you cannot fully see: electricity, roads, schedules, invisible networks that keep your world running. And when those systems feel unstable, your mind tightens. So tonight, it can be soothing to visit a place where the systems are simple enough to imagine. Water in a channel, grain in a jar, marks in clay. Nothing is instant. Everything takes time. And time, when treated gently, becomes a friend. A soft twist begins here too, not a shock, only a quiet widening of perspective. When you look at a clay tablet in a museum, you might think, this is ancient. But the truth is, calmer and closer, it is also familiar. It is a reminder that people have always tried to keep track of what matters, to make promises, to share resources, to tell their children, this is who we are. Your email inbox is not so different from a grain ledger, except louder. Your calendar is not so different from a planting schedule, except more crowded. Your worries are not so different from the fears of a farmer watching the rivers level, except dressed in modern clothing. Across time, the human nervous system has the same shape. And that means you are not alone. Here, no one rests alone. Every mark in clay is a quiet witness that someone else once lay awake, thinking about tomorrow and hoping for enough. So let the riverbank hold you. Let the scribe's slow hands become your lullaby. If you are listening from a bed, feel the bed supporting you. And if you are listening from a couch, feel the cushions receiving your weight. You don't have to hold yourself up. The world can hold you for a while. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now imagine the lamp in the scribe's room dimming lower. The flame becomes smaller. The shadows soften. The tablet rests on a mat, cooling, drying, becoming quietly durable. Outside, the river keeps moving, and your mind, if it wants, can keep moving too, towards sleep, towards softness, toward the gentle dark where thoughts become less sharp and more like drifting clouds. There is another small scene, almost too quiet to notice, a courtyard after the last meal. A clay jar sits in the corner, sweating coolness into the warm air. Someone has placed a woven basket over figs to keep the insects away. A sleeping mat is rolled and tied with a simple cord. Overhead, the sky is so clear that the stars feel close enough to touch, yet they remain perfectly distant, like thoughts that no longer need your attention. In that courtyard, an older man sits with his back to a wall, listening to the river's far-off voice. He's not planning a conquest. He's not chasing greatness. He's simply letting the day leave his body. He hums once, low, almost inaudible, then stops. In the pause that follows, even his worries seem to lower their heads. If your mind is still awake, you can join him. Imagine leaning back against cool brick. Imagine the steady night air brushing your cheeks. Imagine that tomorrow can wait at the edge of the reeds, and you do not have to meet it until you are rested. For now, only the river counts. If tonight's journey made you think of a memory of a river you once stood beside or a quiet evening long ago, feel free to share it below whenever you are awake enough. For now, the scribe sets down the stylus. The reed lies still. The clay holds its marks, and you can hold nothing at all. Just breathe. By the river, night feels like a wide, slow blanket. The settlement has gone quiet now. The last voices have softened into murmurs behind mud brick walls, and even the dogs seem to understand the hour. Somewhere a reed door creaks once in the breeze, then settles again. The lamp in the scribe's room is a smaller flame now, a humble ember, and the shadows it casts are gentle, rounded at the edges, as if they have learned not to startle anyone. Outside, the Euphrates continues its patient work. It moves without ambition, without hurry, carrying silt that will become tomorrow's soil. When it touches the bank, it makes a sound like a hush, like someone reminding the world to be kind and quiet. If you are still awake, let that sound become your background. Not a thing you must listen to carefully, just a soft presence that tells your nervous system, you can rest now. Inhale slowly and feel your chest rise. Exhale longer and feel your body sink as if you are being received by the night. In the river world, people learned early that light is precious. In a land where darkness could hide animals, thieves, or simply the unknown, a lamp was more than a tool, it was a small circle of safety. A flame meant you could see your child's sleeping face. It meant you could find the water jar without stumbling. It meant you could watch the dough rise and feel, in a very ordinary way, that tomorrow would come. So the city at night is not bright, it is dotted. One low lamp here in a doorway, another there in a courtyard, a third behind a curtain, glowing like a tiny moon caught in a jar. From far away it might look like a field of fireflies, small lights scattered across darkness, each one a quiet promise. Imagine walking through those streets. They are narrow, designed for shade in the day. The ground is hard-packed earth. At the corners, you can smell damp clay because even in the dry season, the river air brings a faint coolness. A woman steps out with a bowl of water and pours it along the edge of her doorway to settle dust. A man lifts a basket of grain and carries it inside without speaking. Somewhere, a baby makes a small sound, then is soothed again, and the city returns to stillness. But this is how civilization begins, not with crowns, but with routines, not with proclamations, but with small repeated acts, carrying, pouring, sweeping, counting, baking, sleeping. And because these acts repeat, the mind can relax inside them. If your own life has been too sharp lately, too full of sudden messages, sudden expectations, let this old city offer you something softer, a sense that the world can be held together by quiet repetition. Did you notice how calm your body feels when you imagine simple things being done slowly? Now let the camera of your imagination drift upward, gently, without strain. Above the low rooftops, the sky is enormous. Stars scatter across it in a way that feels almost careless, as if the universe is not worried about symmetry. The moon, if it is present, is a pale curve, like a fingernail clipping of light, and the river is a darker ribbon, reflecting nothing but an occasional star that trembles on its surface. Farther away, beyond the settlement, you can see the outline of a larger structure, not a palace, not yet. A raised platform of packed earth and brick, something like an early temple mound, a place where people climbed to be nearer to the sky or to feel that their prayers could travel farther on the night wind. It is quiet up there, no chanting, no drama. Just the sense that someone, long ago, wanted to stand above the sleeping city and listen. A priest, perhaps, or simply an older person who could not sleep, whose mind was full of questions. They climb slowly, one step at a time, and when they reach the top, they sit. The night air is cooler here. It touches their face the way cool sheets touch your skin when you first lie down. They look out over the city of low lamps, and they feel something that you might recognize, a soft amazement. How do all these lives fit together? How does the river keep coming? How does the sky remain so wide? And what is a person inside all of this? If those questions feel too big, let them stay big. Big questions can be soothing when you don't have to answer them. They make your daily worries feel smaller, like pebbles beside a river. The person on the platform closes their eyes. They listen to the water. They let the wind move through the reeds below. And in that listening, they feel the strange comfort of being part of something older than their own thoughts. This is the kind of comfort we are reaching for tonight. A comfort that does not depend on solving everything, a comfort that comes from belonging to time. Now let us return to the scribe. The scribe has left the tablet to dry. They have washed their hands, rubbing clay away with water and a bit of sand, and the feeling is satisfying, like cleaning something that does not need to be clean, just because it feels good to begin the night lighter. They eat a small late meal, bread, dates, perhaps a bit of cheese if they have it. They drink water slowly. Then they sit outside in a courtyard and watch the lamps across the street flicker. The scribe's mind is not empty. No human mind is, but it is quieter than it was earlier. The day's work has been pressed into clay, made physical, made separate from the mind. The scribe does not have to remember every number now. The tablet will remember for them. And here is a gentle thought you might carry. What if you didn't have to remember everything tonight? What if you could trust that the important things will still be there tomorrow? The mind holds too many tablets in the air at once. Sleep is the moment you set them down. So if a worry comes, imagine placing it into clay, press it in with a stylus, name it, then set it on a shelf. You can come back to it later if you need to. For now, it can dry in silence. Outside the courtyard, the city breathes. A distant donkey shifts in its pen. A jar cools in the night air. A reed mat rustles as someone turns in sleep. Above, the stars remain. They do not blink with urgency. They do not call for action. They simply exist, and their existence is strangely reassuring. The scribe stands and walks to the edge of the river. They do not carry a torch. They do not need to see far. They only need to feel the water's presence. At the bank, they crouch and dip their fingers into the current. Cold, alive. The sensation makes their shoulders loosen. They watch the water move and they think about what it means to write. Writing, in this place, is not a performance. It is a canal. It carries meaning from one day to the next. It prevents important things from evaporating. It is a way of making life steadier. And perhaps in your own life, you have your own canals. A morning routine, a favorite mug, a playlist you return to, a person you text when the world feels too loud. These are small channels of stability. They are not dramatic, but they are how you survive. If you can think of one of your canals, just one, let it appear now in your mind like a soft line of water. Let it reassure you. Let it tell you that you are not drifting without support. The scribe lifts their hand from the river and lets the water drip back into the current, one drop at a time. Drop, drop, drop. Notice how even that tiny rhythm can lull the mind. If you feel yourself growing drowsy, let it happen. You don't need to fight sleep. You don't need to do anything to deserve it. You only need to allow the day to end. The scribe returns to the courtyard. They lower the lamp. They lie down on a woven mat, the fabric cool against skin. They pull a thin cloth over their shoulders, not a heavy blanket, just enough weight to feel held. And as they close their eyes, the river continues to move in the dark. The city's low lamps flicker and go out, one by one, like stars dimming at dawn. And the last thing the scribe feels before sleep takes them is gratitude. Simple, quiet gratitude for water, for clay, for a roof, for the steady return of morning. If you'd like, you can borrow that gratitude without effort. You can whisper inside your mind one small thank you for breath. Thank you for a place to rest. Thank you for this moment of quiet. And if the modern night around you has its own sounds, an air conditioner exhaling softly, a car passing far away, a neighbor's footsteps in the hallway, let those sounds join the river world. Imagine they are only distant courtyard murmurs softened by thick walls, unable to reach your pillow. Each sound can remind you life continues and you do not have to steer it right now. If you want a small question to ask yourself, ask gently, where in your body do you feel the most tired? Behind the eyes, in the shoulders, in the hands? Choose one place and let it melt, as if warm water is loosening it from the inside. Right here, in silence. And then let the story grow softer. Because next, we will follow the river forward through centuries, toward a moment when clay tablets travel beyond markets and become songs, laws, myths, soft lanterns carried through time. For now, let the lamps go out. Let the river keep moving. Let your mind float. The river keeps moving, even when no one is watching. It moves in the dark beneath stars, and in the pale light before dawn, and in the bright hours when the air shimmers above the reeds. It moves on the days when the market is loud, and on the days when a household is quiet with grief, and on the days when someone is born and someone else is buried. The river does not choose, it simply carries time forward, grain by grain of silt, breath by breath of water. And somewhere along its banks, the small clay tablets that once held simple counts begin to hold something more, not all at once, not dramatically. In the beginning, writing is a basket. It carries what must be carried: barley, sheep, oil, names, dates, promises. But as generations pass, the human heart does what it always does when it finds a tool that endures. It begins to place its questions inside. It begins to place its hopes inside. It begins to place its stories inside. Tonight we drift forward through centuries as gently as a boat drifting with the current. You do not need to keep track of dates. Let time be like water, continuous, soothing, unmeasured. The settlement we visited before has grown. Fields have widened. Canals have multiplied like veins. People have learned to build with more confidence, stacking mud brick higher, making streets that curve like slow rivers between walls. A city rises, not a city of glass and noise, but a city of low colors: sand, clay, reed, smoke. In the evening, it looks as if it has been sculpted from the earth itself, because it has. From a distance, you might see a raised temple platform, larger now than the one we imagined before. Its sides are straight and calm, and its top holds a structure that catches the last sunlight, glowing softly like a warm stone. People climb its steps slowly, carrying offerings, carrying water, carrying their own small prayers. And below, the city hums with ordinary life: a potter turning clay on a wheel, a baker patting dough, a child chasing a small dog through dust, a merchant folding cloth with the same careful hands a scribe uses for marks. You walk through it like a quiet visitor. Your steps are slow, your breathing is easy. If you notice your body sinking more deeply into rest, let it happen. If your mind drifts, let it drift. The story will keep moving without you needing to hold it. In a shaded courtyard near the temple complex, there is a room where young scribes learn. The room is simple: a low bench, a few mats, a jar of water, baskets of clay, lumps wrapped in damp cloth, reed styluses cut and sharpened. The air smells faintly of wet earth and sun-dried brick. A teacher sits at the front, older, patient. Their voice is not loud, it does not need to be. The students are quiet not because they are afraid, but because the work itself invites quiet. They press marks into clay, again and again. The same wedges, the same angles, the same slow discipline. At first, it is only practice, like scales on an instrument. But one day, the teacher slides a new tablet in front of them. On it are not numbers. On it are words shaped for meaning. A short line, perhaps a proverb, meant to be remembered because it fits the mind like a smooth stone fits the palm. Something like, "A house is built with hands, but it stands with kindness." Or, "The river returns, so does the morning." Simple lines, soft lines. The students copy them carefully, and as they do, you can feel something shifting in the world. Writing is becoming more than record. It is becoming voice. Outside the room, the river glints, the wind moves through reeds, the city continues, yet inside, a new kind of permanence is being practiced, one that can outlast a single breath. And because words can outlast breath, words begin to gather weight. Laws are written not to threaten, but to steady. Agreements are inscribed so that tomorrow will not be a misunderstanding. Lists of rulers are made not for pride, but for continuity, a way of saying, we have been here and we will remain. Even songs find their way into clay. Yes, songs. Because in a world where paper does not exist yet, where memory is fragile and where the river can flood and erase a season's work, people learn to anchor what they love. They carve hymns to the dawn. They carve prayers to the river gods. They carve stories of creation, gentle, symbolic attempts to understand why water and clay and sky exist at all. These stories are not written to scare children. They are written to soothe adults. They are written to calm the restless part of the mind that wakes in the night and asks, what holds this world together? If that question feels familiar, you are in the right place, because tonight we are not only visiting ancient Mesopotamia, we are visiting the human habit of seeking comfort in meaning. Imagine an evening in the city. The sky is darkening, the heat has softened, the market quiets. A few lamps appear like warm seeds of light. A family gathers on a flat rooftop to catch the breeze. Someone pours water into small cups. Someone else speaks in a low voice about the day. A child leans against a parent's shoulder, already drifting. And nearby, in a temple room, a scribe unrolls a mat and sets a tablet down. The tablet is not new. It is already dry, already hard. Its surface is cool. The marks are neat and shallow. The scribe reads the marks with their fingertips, almost like braille, not because they must, but because touching the words feels intimate. It feels like holding hands with someone across time. The story on the tablet is familiar. It has been copied many times. It tells of a great river and a garden, and the first humans learning the rhythm of work and rest. It tells of winds and storms, but it does not linger on fear. It lingers on the return of calm, the way a flood eventually leaves, the way the land eventually dries, the way the world begins again. The scribe's voice, if they read aloud, would be low, steady, warm, like a sleep story. In that moment, you can feel the soft twist of tonight's journey. Long before YouTube, long before headphones and playlists, people already used stories to quiet the mind at night. They gathered under lamps, they listened, they repeated lines that felt like anchors. They let myths hold what their nervous systems could not hold alone. Here, no one rests alone. Every old story is a lantern. And if your heart has been tired, you are allowed to borrow the lantern. Now let us step into a place where many lanterns are kept. A tablet room, not a grand library with columns and marble, but a storeroom in a temple complex, cooler than the outside air, shaded orderly. Shelves made of wood or brick hold stacks of tablets. Some are small, some are larger, some are wrapped in cloth, some are placed in baskets. The room smells of dust and clay, a scent that is strangely comforting because it is honest. It says, "This is what remains, this is what we saved." A keeper of tablets walks slowly between shelves. Their job is quiet and it requires patience. They lift tablets carefully, read labels, return them to their places. Each motion is slow enough to be safe. If you imagine yourself walking with them, notice how your mind naturally becomes quieter. Order can be soothing. Soft, repeated motions can soothe the body the way waves soothe a shoreline. The keeper pauses at a shelf and takes down a tablet. It is an old hymn, a praise of morning light. It describes the sun rising over reeds, the birds calling once, the river reflecting gold. It describes the feeling of relief when night ends and work can begin again. The language is simple and luminous like water. The keeper reads it and smiles, barely, not because it is entertaining, but because it is familiar. Because it reminds them that people long ago felt what they feel now: gratitude, fatigue, hope. And you, listening in your own night, can feel that connection too. If tonight's story reminded you of a beautiful memory, perhaps a sunrise you once saw, or a quiet river you once stood beside, feel free to share it below whenever you are awake enough. You don't have to write much. A single sentence can be its own small tablet. Now, as the keeper returns the hymn to the shelf, the sound is soft, clay touching clay, a muted click, the kind of sound that would not wake a sleeping person. Outside, the city's lamps dim. Rooftops become darker. The sky deepens into a full, star-heavy night. And somewhere in a modest house near the canal, a family lies down. Their bodies settle into woven mats. Their breathing slows. The last voice in the room becomes a whisper, then silence. In the temple complex, the tablet room door is closed gently, not slammed. A latch settles, a boundary is made. And you can take that boundary for yourself now. Let the day stay outside, let tomorrow wait beyond the reeds. Tonight you are allowed to be nothing but breath and softness. Inhale, slow and easy. Exhale, longer. As you exhale, imagine the river carrying your thoughts away, not stealing them, not erasing them, simply moving them downstream to a calmer place where you can find them again in the morning. In the next part, we will follow one of these ancient lantern stories, a tale about water, time, and a quiet beginning, letting it unfold like a slow dream, without fear, without urgency, only with the gentle wonder of deep history. For now, the city of low lamps grows dimmer. The tablet shelves rest, the river continues, and you can continue too, downward into sleep. In the tablet room, after the lamps have dimmed and the city has folded itself into sleep, a keeper sometimes takes down a story, not for duty, but for comfort. It is not a story of conquest, not a story of shouting gods or clashing armies. It is a story that moves the way a river moves, slowly, steadily, with a soft certainty that dawn will arrive. The tablet is warm where hands have touched it before. Its surface is smooth in places, rough in others, like stone that has been held for many years. The marks are small wedges pressed with care, and when the keeper leans close, the lines feel almost like a hush made visible. Tonight we let that tablet open in your imagination like a quiet door. We travel south, toward an old city that loved water, Eridu, near the place where fresh river meets the wider breadth of the sea. Even the name feels like a low ripple. Eridu, a beginning place, a place where reeds grew thick along canals, and where morning light would arrive across wet ground in pale sheets. Picture it at first light. The sky is not yet blue. It is a gentle grey, washed with faint rose near the horizon. The air is cool enough to make skin feel awake, but not cold enough to bite. Reeds sway, brushing one another with the softest whisper. Waterbirds stand on thin legs, still as statues, waiting for the day to fully begin. If you are listening in bed, let your breath match that early light. Inhale slow and quiet. Exhale longer, as if you are letting the night leave your body in a smooth stream. In Eridu, the houses sit low, built from mud and patience. Their walls are the color of bread crust. Their doorways are modest. In courtyards, jars of water rest in shade, and the smell of damp clay lingers like a memory of rain. Near the edge of the city, there is a temple, simple compared to later monuments, but precious to the people who climb toward it. The steps are cool under bare feet. The top catches the first warmth of sunrise. From up there, you can see canals threading through fields like calm veins. And on a morning like this, the old story begins. It says that before humans had names, the world was already full of work. The rivers needed guiding so they would not wander too wildly. The fields needed tending so they would not return to reeds. The channels needed clearing so water could travel gently, without anger, from river to garden. The story does not complain about work. It treats work the way a sleepy person treats breathing, a simple rhythm that keeps life going. And yet, even in the world of the gods, there is weariness. So the story tells of a god of deep waters and quiet wisdom, Enki, whom some later call Ea. He is not a god of thunder. He is a god of fresh water under the earth, of springs that rise without noise, of intelligence that does not need to shout. Enki lives in a place of coolness, a house of reeds and water called the Abzu. Imagine it like an underwater courtyard, clear and calm, where light filters down in soft patterns and everything feels slow. In that cool place, Enki hears the world's tiredness. Not with ears exactly, but with the way water senses pressure. And so he thinks of an answer that matches the world, something made from the river, something shaped by gentle hands. Clay. The story says that Enki looks to the riverbanks where silt gathers, where mud is soft enough to hold footprints. He gathers that clay as you might gather a handful of wet sand at the shore, without force, without hurry. Then he calls for help, and a motherly presence arrives, Nin-Her-Sag, a goddess of earth and birth. In this telling, she is not dramatic, she is steady. She is the feeling of soil that holds seeds, the calm patience of a garden waiting through winter. Together they begin to shape. They do not carve stone, they do not hammer metal, they press and smooth and coax, the way a potter works when the wheel turns slowly. Fingers leave marks, palms round edges. The clay yields and holds shape. And as they work, the story becomes tender, because it suggests that humans are not an afterthought. Humans are a solution made with care, designed to bring balance to a world that needs steady hands. Enki leans close to the clay forms. Nin-Her-Sag smooths a shoulder, a cheek, a curve of a hand. They add breath, not with wind, but with intention, with the quiet kind of life that wakes in a newborn without any announcement. And then, the tablet says, the clay learns to breathe. If you want to feel that softness now, notice your own breathing. It is already happening. You do not have to earn it. You do not have to understand it. Inhale gently, as if you are receiving a small gift. Exhale slowly, as if you are offering thanks. In the story, the first humans open their eyes like dawn opening over water. They are not frightened. They are not heroic. They are simply present. They look at reeds, at canal water, at mud brick walls warming in early sun, and they begin the work of living. They lift baskets. They carry water. They clear channels. They plant and harvest. They learn to share shade at noon. They learn to rest at night. The old tablet does not pretend life is perfect, but it offers a soothing idea that the world is held together by ordinary care. A canal cleared before it clogs, a jar refilled before it empties, a lamp lit before darkness becomes too thick. These are small actions, but they are the bones of civilization. And if you have been doing small actions all day, washing dishes, answering messages, carrying responsibilities that no one applauds. This myth sees you. It says your steady care matters. In the city, you might see one of those first people at dawn walking barefoot along the canal edge. The mud is cool. It gives slightly under each step, leaving prints that fill with a film of water. The person carries a small wooden shovel, not a weapon, just a tool for clearing reeds and lifting silt. They pause where the channel narrows, and with a few gentle motions they loosen a clump of plants, freeing the flow. Water slips past so softly and the channel looks calmer. A little farther on, a child watches an adult rinse a clay jar, turning it so the inside catches the light. The child's eyes are sleepy. The adult's smile is small, not because life is easy, but because morning is here and the jar is full. And that is enough for now. And somewhere, in a shaded room, a scribe presses a short line into a fresh tablet, perhaps a blessing for the day's work, perhaps a simple reminder. May the water be kind. The words are small, but they carry a tenderness that can survive centuries. When the tablet dries, that tenderness becomes durable. If you are listening from a busy modern life, maybe a small apartment, maybe a quiet house after everyone else has gone to bed, let that tenderness reach you. You have cleared channels today in your own way. You have kept water moving. You have carried what needed carrying. So now you can rest. Try one small practice. As you exhale, imagine the river taking one worry from you. Choose an easy worry like a pebble. Exhale, and let the river carry it downstream. Then inhale, empty-handed. Do that once more and notice how the mind softens when it imagines being relieved. Now the story adds a detail that feels like a lullaby. It says the gods gave humans something gentle to guide them. Rhythm. The rhythm of seasons. The rhythm of water levels. The rhythm of morning and evening. Because rhythm is kinder than chaos, and rhythm is what lets a nervous system relax. You can feel that kindness now in the pace of this narration. In the way the images repeat: water, clay, reeds, light, quiet work, rest. Did you notice time slowing down again, as if the night is wider than it was? In Eridu, evening arrives, the day's heat softens. Birds settle into reeds, the canals reflect the sky's fading color. People return to courtyards with tired shoulders and calm faces. They wash their hands, they eat bread and dates, they speak softly, they laugh once, not loudly, and then the laughter fades into the gentle dark. A storyteller sits near a lamp. Not a performer, just someone older. Someone who has lived long enough to know that stories can soothe the heart better than advice. Children gather close, but so do adults, because adults also need to be held. The storyteller speaks of Enki and Ninhursag shaping clay by cool water. The children imagine it with wide eyes, the adults imagine it with relief, because in that story, life begins not with violence, but with care. And when the story ends, the lamp is lowered, the courtyard grows quiet, the river keeps moving beyond the walls, a steady sound that makes sleep easier. If tonight's story reminded you of a beautiful memory, perhaps wet mud between your toes at a lake, or the smell of rain on soil, feel free to share it below whenever you are awake enough. For now, let the myth do what it was always meant to do: soften the mind. You do not have to solve the past. You do not have to prove anything. You only have to feel the gentlest truth hidden in those wedge-shaped marks. Humans were imagined as part of the river's rhythm, and you, too, can return to rhythm whenever you need. One more breath in, slow. One more breath out, long. Let your thoughts become clay again, soft, shapeless, unimportant. Let them settle. Let the river carry the rest. After the old tablet's myth has finished speaking, something remains in the room that is not quite a story. It is a a feeling like cool water on tired hands, a feeling like clay drying safely in the shade, a feeling like the world, even with all its mysteries, can be held with gentleness. In Eridu, the lamp has been lowered, the courtyard has grown still. The river keeps moving beyond the walls, a long, soft sound that does not demand attention, only offers rhythm. And as you listen tonight, your own night can begin to resemble that courtyard, quieter, wider, softer at the edges. If you can, notice one small place where your body is already resting. Maybe it is the back of your head against the pillow. Maybe it is the weight of your hands, finally heavy. Maybe it is the slow, patient rise and fall of your chest. Let that resting place become your anchor. Now we let the camera drift again, across centuries, across deserts, across maps you need not memorize. We move from the river world back toward the salt shore, back toward the green bowl that once held canals like braided hair, back toward that quiet valley where legends and layers overlap. Not because we need to compare which story is right, but because returning can be soothing. The mind likes loops. The heart likes circles. Sleep too is a kind of returning, back to the breath, back to the body, back to a simpler state where nothing needs to be solved. So imagine the valley once more as evening arrives. The kikar, the old green bowl, is quieter than it was in the first telling. Time has done its work. The fields are not as lush in our mind now. The canals are faint. The palms stand like memories rather than facts. And beyond it, the Dead Sea lies still, holding darkness the way a deep cup holds ink. There is a shoreline path pale with salt. There are rocks with white crusts like delicate lace. There is a wind that moves slowly, so slowly you can almost count it, in and out. A traveller walks there again, but this time it is not Lot, and it is not a researcher. It is simply you as a quiet witness. You do not carry a theory. You do not carry a verdict. You do not carry a need to explain. You carry only attention, and attention is enough. As you walk, you notice how the place feels both empty and full. Empty of crowds, full of presence. The air tastes mineral. The silence has weight. The horizon is flat enough to calm a racing mind. And then, softly, the lesson returns. The one that has been following us since the first lamp was lit. The earth does not shout. It records. Salt does not lie. It stays. Clay does not brag. It endures. Water does not argue. It moves. These are not morals designed to make you behave. They are reminders designed to help you rest. Because if the world is built from forces that can be steady without being loud, then perhaps you can be steady without being loud too. Perhaps you can let your thoughts lower their voices. Perhaps you can let your nervous system unclench. Perhaps you can let the day's sharp corners round themselves out. Did you notice how, when we returned to the shoreline, your breathing became slower again? If you did, that's the body remembering safety in wide spaces. Now we take a gentle step into reflection, not as an essay, not as a debate, but as a quiet bedside thought. Here is the thought. Some stories are meant to be warnings, other stories are meant to be shelters, and many old stories became warnings only because people were afraid of forgetting what mattered. If a city fell silent, the lesson might have been, be kind, be humble, respect the limits of the world. If a valley changed, the lesson might have been, don't cling so tightly, because life can turn quickly. If the horizon once brightened too strongly, the lesson might have been, remember that nature has boundaries. But in our telling, the same lessons can become shelter. Be kind, not as guilt, but as softness. Be humble, not as shame, but as perspective. Respect limits, not as fear, but as permission to rest. Think of the phrase we carried earlier, the ground does not judge. What a relief. Because many people lie awake at night judging themselves, replaying, rewriting, punishing, trying to fix the unfixable. Tonight, imagine the ground beneath you, beneath your building, beneath your city, quietly holding everything without complaint. It holds the footsteps of yesterday. It holds the roots of old trees. It holds broken pottery and lost buttons and forgotten coins. It holds mistakes and joys and ordinary days alike. It does not label them. It does not shout about them. It does not keep them on the surface. It simply holds. And that means you can stop holding so tightly for a little while. If your mind offers you a regret, let it be a small pebble. Place it on the shoreline. Let the wind pass over it. Let the water remain still. You do not have to pick it up tonight. If your mind offers you a worry, let it be a grain of salt. Hold it briefly, notice its cool honesty, and then let it fall back to the shore. It can stay there until morning. Now the traveler you pause is near a rock. You sit down, the stone is cool, the salt air is clean, the night is wide. Above you, the sky is crowded with stars. Below you, the Dead Sea is almost starless because it reflects only what it chooses. That too can be a lesson. You do not have to reflect every thought. You can choose which thoughts deserve your attention. A thought about rest deserves your attention. A thought about breath deserves your attention. A thought about kindness toward yourself deserves your attention. The rest can pass through you like wind through reeds. Inhale, exhale. If you are still awake enough to answer softly, consider this gentle question. What is one thing you did today that was quietly good? Not impressive, not perfect, just quietly good. Maybe you answered someone kindly. Maybe you cooked something simple. Maybe you kept going even when you were tired. Maybe you took a small walk. Maybe you drank water. Maybe you showed up. Let that small goodness be your tablet for the night. Press it gently into clay, set it on the shelf, let it endure. Because goodness, like clay, does not need applause to last. Now, the traveler, you stands again and walks a little farther along the shore. The salt crust crunches softly underfoot. The wind brushes your cheek like a slow hand. Far away, a small light flickers. Perhaps a distant building, perhaps a boat, perhaps just a star near the horizon. You do not need to know which. Mystery can be restful when it is far enough away. And in the distance of the mind, the valley's legend becomes simply one more layer in the Earth's archive. A layer of fear, perhaps, a layer of hope, certainly, a layer of human longing for meaning. Then above those layers, the layer of salt, the layer of altered soil, the layer of pottery that once gleamed under a lamp, the layer of tiny beads that cooled like falling stars. And above that, your own layer tonight, listening. Your breath, your quiet presence. And this is the soft twist we carry into sleep. You are not separate from history. You are one more gentle layer of time, a living moment held between past and morning. If that thought brings you calm, you can leave a gentle comment for yourself below whenever you're awake enough. Just a word like layer or soft or still. And if the thought makes you sleepy, that is even better, because the story is doing what it was meant to do. One more inhale, slow and easy. Somewhere in the valley, a single palm frond stirs and then becomes still again. The movement is so small it would be easy to miss, but small movements are often the ones that soothe us most. They ask nothing from the mind. They simply remind the body that life continues in gentle pulses: leaf, breath, water, pause. If you like, try a quiet count with me, the way a scribe counted marks, the way a canal counts drops. Breathe in for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1 soft moment. Breathe out for 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Feel the shoulders sink. Feel the tongue rest. Do that once more and then let the numbers dissolve. The body already knows the rhythm, and the night will keep it for you. And when the count fades, let it fade, because sleep does not need counting to stay. If thoughts return, greet them kindly, then watch them drift away like mist. Now let the camera pull back once more, very slowly. The shoreline becomes a pale line. The water becomes a dark sheet. The valley becomes a bowl of shadow. The hills become sleeping shapes, and your room returns quietly around you. You can feel the fabric beneath you. You can feel the weight of your blanket. You can hear perhaps a distant modern sound, the soft hum of a machine, the faint passing of a car. Let those sounds join the wind and water of the story. They are all just night noises. They do not require your attention. One more breath in, one more breath out, longer than before. As you exhale, imagine a door closing gently, the way Lot closed his door against the crowded street, not in fear, but in care. Tonight, you close the door on effort. You close the door on proving. You close the door on solving. You allow the earth to remember for you. You allow the river to move for you. You allow sleep to arrive like dawn. The shoreline is almost invisible now, not because it has vanished, but because your mind no longer needs sharp edges to feel safe. The Dead Sea has become a dark, steady presence, like a deep bowl of ink holding the night. The salt has become a pale suggestion, a quiet seam between water and land. The wind has become the softest brushstroke, moving and pausing, moving and pausing, as if it is practicing the same kindness we've been practicing all along, doing less and doing it slowly. If you are still awake, you don't have to try to stay awake. If you are already drifting, you don't have to try to follow every sentence. Tonight, the story can carry you the way rivers carry boats, without effort, without resistance, because by now, you've walked through enough quiet places to recognize the pattern. You've stood at a doorway and felt the boundary close softly. You've watched dawn arrive one shade at a time. You've held clay in your imagination and felt how something humble can endure. You've followed the long breath of water through ancient cities of low lamps. You've listened to writing become more than record, becoming comfort, becoming lantern. And now you've come to the simplest place of all, this moment. Just you and your breath and the softness of night. Inhale gently. Exhale longer. Let your shoulders sink as if the bed is quietly pulling them downward, not with force, only with welcome. Somewhere in deep time, a scribe sets down a stylus. Somewhere along a riverbank, reeds sway and then grow still. Somewhere in a museum, a pottery shard gleams once under warm light and then returns to shadow. Somewhere in the valley, salt remains honest and quiet. And somewhere in your own life, the day is finally over. That last part is worth repeating softly. The day is over. And you do not have to carry it through the night. If your mind tries to bring you a list, you can let the list rest. If your mind tries to replay a scene, you can let the scene fade like a dream. If your mind tries to ask why, you can place that question gently on a shelf, like a tablet in a quiet room, and close the door without slamming it. Because the truth is, tomorrow can hold what tonight does not need to hold. Tonight, only one thing matters: rest. And rest is not something you earn by finishing everything. Rest is something you allow. So let's return one last time to the image that has followed us like a soft thread, a green bowl of land, once full of water and palms, not because we need to solve what happened there, but because the shape itself is soothing. A bowl is a place to set things down. A bowl holds without gripping. A bowl does not judge what it carries. Imagine that bowl now in your mind. Not a perfect landscape, not a postcard, just a gentle shape. Water braided through channels, fields resting, palms standing like quiet memory. A wide sky above it, open and patient. Now imagine that the bowl is not only the valley, it is also you. You are allowed to be a place where the day's dust settles, a place where thoughts can fall and become still, a place where you do not have to respond to everything, a place where silence is not emptiness but relief. Did you notice time slowing down from the moment the narration began? If you did, then something important has already happened. Your nervous system has begun to trust the night. And when the body trusts the night, sleep becomes less like a task and more like a tide. It arrives, quietly, naturally, without being forced. Now let's make the language even softer, even simpler, like the last pages of a book you don't need to finish tonight. Inhale, exhale, you are safe, your body is supported, your thoughts can drift. If it helps, imagine a small lantern, not a bright lantern, not a waking lantern, a soft lantern like warm light behind thin fabric. In the ancient city by the river, a lamp was a circle of safety. In the tablet room, a story was a lantern that could outlast a voice. In the valley, even the salt became a kind of lantern, pale and honest, reflecting light without shouting. Tonight, the lantern is this: a steady breath. Inhale, like drawing a little light into the chest. Exhale, like letting that light spread gently through the body, loosening every muscle that has been working too hard. If you want to release tension in a very simple way, choose one small place, the space between your eyebrows. Let it smooth, your tongue resting in your mouth. Let it relax. Your shoulders, let them melt downward as if they have been holding up an invisible coat all day, and now the coat has been removed. Your hands, let your fingers uncurl, slowly, like petals at dusk. Now imagine the shoreline again, but this time even farther away. So far that it cannot trouble you. So far that it becomes only a quiet image, a line of pale salt, a dark sheet of water, a sky full of stars. Distance is mercy. Distance is sleep. And the story too is becoming distant in the most comforting way. It is turning into a background hum, like the river at night beyond mud brick walls. You don't need to understand every detail, you only need to feel the calm. Here, no one rests alone. Every listener is another small light in this quiet corner of the night. If tonight's story reminded you of a beautiful memory, feel free to share it below whenever you are awake enough. And if it didn't remind you of any particular memory, that's perfectly okay too. Sometimes the best sleep comes when the mind stops searching. Sometimes the best healing comes when the heart stops trying to explain itself. Sometimes you don't need meaning. You only need gentleness. So let's do one final simple rhythm together, like a lullaby made of breath. Breathe in for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again. In for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out for 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now let the counting dissolve, let the numbers fall away like dust. Your body knows what to do. Your body has done this before. It has crossed many nights. It has carried you through many days. It deserves softness. You deserve softness. If thoughts return, greet them the way you would greet a traveler at your door in a kinder city, not with panic, not with argument, just with a calm nod. Hello, thought. And then you gently close the door again, not harshly, only softly. Click. Boundary. Quiet. Now the story itself begins to whisper less and to breathe more. It becomes a slow tide of images, a clay tablet resting on a mat drying in shade, a river reflecting one star, trembling lightly, then smoothing again, a palm frond shifting once, then going still, a museum light dimming in an empty room, salt shining faintly, then fading, and over all of it, the same patient truth. Time holds everything. You do not have to. Let time hold the questions. Let the earth hold the layers. Let the river hold the movement. Tonight, you only hold one thing, a breath. In, out. If this story brought you calm, leave a gentle comment for yourself. If you feel safe enough to join our quiet community, don't forget to subscribe for more peaceful nighttime journeys. And before you drift fully into sleep, here's one last soft question, only if you want it. Where are you listening from tonight? No pressure to answer quickly, no pressure to answer at all. Your presence is already enough. Now, the lantern stays lit, but very low. Low enough to soothe, low enough to fade, low enough to let the dark become kind again. The past has fallen asleep in the earth, and you can fall asleep too, right now.